People won't get vaccinated. At some point, people will have to start getting vaccinated. Pretty good. How about yourself?
More feedback.
Hey, Mayor, how you doing?
They got you two need to, his right, Marcus is right there, just. Oh, he's got, yeah, you're right here. Let's switch it.
Right beside Edwin.
Oh, spotted. Good, good. I'll call to order the joint planning session, Blythewood Town Council and Blythewood Planning Commission. Tonight, August 2nd. The time is now 6 p.m. Ms. Cowan, when you call the roll of the Town Council, please.
Mayor Franklin.
I'm here.
Councilman Eddie Ballman.
Present.
Councilman Griff Griffin. Councilman Donald Brock.
Present.
Councilwoman Griffin.
Present.
Of course, as we know, Councilman Larry Griffin is still mourning the loss of a loved one, and he is excused from tonight's meeting. Please conduct roll call of the Planning Commission.
Rich McKenrick. Ernestine Middleton. Marcus Taylor. Malcolm Ward. Erica Page. And Ed Christie.
Okay, thank you. We see both bodies have a quorum tonight. And Ms. Cowan, was notification posting of tonight's agenda completed in accordance with state law?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Council members, before you is tonight's agenda. I'll be looking for an approval.
So move.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve tonight's agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation tonight. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Please pray with me. Heavenly Father, we ask tonight that you place your hands of wisdom and guidance upon us all as we do the town's business in the name of the people of Blythewood. Lord, we ask that you bless the first responders, the servicemen and women, and the school teachers as they prepare to do battle to help prevent us from the persistent virus continuing to spread throughout our society. Lord, we ask a special blessing on the family of Larry Griffin and all of those who are mourning losses at this time and those who could not be here. We ask all these things in your name, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Please be seated. Moving to tonight's Town Council action item, it would be Part A, discussion and approval to prepare budget funds for additional revenue sources. Mr. Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So there are significant revenue funds anticipated coming in this budget year that didn't know much about as we were going through the budget earlier in the year. So just wanted to get a motion and approval from council to move forward with setting up accounts and getting ready with the anticipation of coming back with a budget amendment before you. I anticipate sometime in November.
Okay, council?
Mr. Williamson, for the record, where are these monies coming from and how much are they?
Well, the ARP funds is approximately $2 million, and then from the state is the $250,000 earmark from for Doco Meadows Park security upgrades, and then any grants that we receive. So all of that, none of that was in the budget that we currently have. So we will have separate funds, separate accounts for all that, and then bring that before you for your approval.
Thank you, sir.
I see no objections to this. I'll so move on that.
Do I hear a second? Second. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the town administrator to prepare budget funds for additional revenue sources, set up the accounts, and be prepared to brief later in the year. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you. Part B tonight, discussion and approval to utilize the local government investment pool. Mr. Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The town of Blythewood has accounts in the local government investment pool, which is a state, it's in the treasurer's office. It's just a state savings account that many municipalities, counties, and schools use to save their excess cash in order to generate some interest. And but the town currently has no funds in these accounts, and the town does have excess cash that needs to be in there. What the CPA recommended and staff is to move any excess cash to those accounts. So even though interest rates are extraordinarily low right now, it's something. And So I think we need to get them in those accounts. And exact amount, we'll be meeting with our CPA to prepare the audit on August 10th or 11th, I believe. And I will go off his guidance for how much, and I'll brief you on that as well.
Council member remarks.
Do you think the LGIP pool is the best investment vehicle for this excess cash?
That's what our CPA recommended. And I've checked with other municipalities who use it. So I haven't done an extensive research just to look at all the different opportunities there, but it's certainly a safe one that's 100% collateralized. And so it seems like a wise investment.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, please, Councilman.
I feel like this is a safe move for our excess cash, our savings account that we generated so safely over the years. So if no other council members see any objections to this, I make a motion to approve as recommended.
Second.
It's been probably moved and seconded to approve the utilization of the local government investment pool, the amount to be determined based on CPA guidance. Any further discussion?
Just one other point,
Please.
Mr. Mayor. A couple people, Mr. Williamson and Councilman Griffin, have used the word safe. The assets in this pool are highly rated, but as we have seen, there is risk inherent in all investments. Looking at the portfolio, you got 70% commercial paper, 20% asset-backed, and 7% money market, and basically 3.5% government. There is risk involved in this because companies do go belly up. We've seen this 08, 09. So to say that this is essentially safe, that is a little bit of a misnomer. It is low risk, but I don't want anyone to confuse it that it is government-backed or insured, because it is not. We can experience loss in the LGIP. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Further comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you. Open citizen comments this evening? Hearing none, we'll move to adjourn the town council portion of tonight's meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Been probably moved and seconded to adjourn tonight's town council meeting portion. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We're adjourned. Turn it over to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And with that, we will call tonight's meeting of the Blythewood Planning Commission to order for August 2nd, 2021, following the Town Council special called meeting. Ms. Cowan has already called the roll, and Ms. Cowan, we also had proper posting of our meeting. Thank you, ma'am. We have also a short agenda before us this evening, which was emailed out by staff. Thank you very much. And I take it that the commission has had a chance to look at it, and we would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, our agenda is adopted, and we have minutes that was also in the packet from July 6th of 2021, which we would like to get approved this evening.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented, Mr. Chair.
Have a motion? Is there a second? All right, motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the minutes are approved. Just for the record, Marcus called me and said he may be here 6:15, so he may come in late, Ms. Cowan, but he was running just a little bit behind, but we also have a quorum, so we're good to go. Roman numeral 2, the action item for this evening, is a zoning map amendment, and Mr. Williamson, I will turn that over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This application is for rezoning of tax map number 17800-01-01 on Langford Road. It's 10.4 acres currently zoned rural. It's located in the activity center on our future land use map, which means it's a mix of uses, traditional town scale and walkability. The applicant is requesting a rezoning to multi-neighborhood commercial district and architectural overlay district. The multi-neighborhood commercial district has a medium land use intensity for residential, civic, office, and retail categories. And it's one level of intensity below town center, which is heavy on those categories.
Okay. Commissioners, questions on the application?
Was there any indication of what they are proposing or thinking about using the land forward down the road?
I think the intent would be to complement what's coming across the street, which is the Blythewood Farms subdivision. I think that is what Mr. McLean's is in.
I think the only thing that I can add is that, as you say, this is regarded as an activity center identified in the master plan, but there were no details in the master plan as to what that might entail. It was a half-mile radius zone that was marked out, but no explanation for what its intended use should be. I think with that in mind, if there's no other discussion or comment, I would certainly make a motion to approve the zoning request as detailed.
We do have a motion on the floor to approve. Is there a second? And then we can discuss if there's further discussion. All right, let's go ahead and discuss to see if we can clarify some things. My question would be, Mr. Williamson, you and I talked earlier about the town center to the north. That would be the property that the pecan trees are located on currently.
That's correct.
How long has that been in town center? Do we know that?
I don't know that for sure. I don't think it's a recent rezoning, but I'm not sure.
And then everything behind this piece of property is rural.
That's correct. Well, in fact, a portion of that town center actually is behind as well. But yes, to the north, I believe, is rural for the most part, and it's residential rural.
Right. So our overlay, as far as moving down Langford Road, would be kind of difficult due to the fact that most of that is residential or already developed. Would that be correct? As far as
The architectural overlay to move it, you mean for the existing zoning?
or to acquire more additional town center or neighborhood commercial, or moving down Langford Road, that would be kind of difficult because there are residential homes there.
Yes, I mean, it
Unless
just kind of depends, I guess, if that's how things are developed. But yeah, as it currently stands, it doesn't seem like it would fit.
And the applicant's not here, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Tonight?
Not sure. He didn't tell me that he wouldn't be here. I spoke to him on Friday about it.
Currently, if I'm correct, and somebody purchased that land, they would come back before Planning Commission if they wanted to develop under a real estate contract to take it from rural to either town center or neighborhood commercial.
Oh, are you talking about the parcels
The
to the
parcel,
south?
yeah.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Other thoughts from the commission? Did he, Mr. McLean didn't give you any other information to go on other than,
No, but we did talk about the benefits of this particular zoning district over town center, and that the town center does have some allowable uses that he would not like there. So that was one of his reasonings for choosing a less intensive zoning district.
and do you know, is he currently marketing this property for sale?
Not that I'm aware of.
I looked today and I couldn't find anything.
It's always disappointing when the applicant does not represent themselves and their interest, but this is purely a zoning request at this point. And there would be further discussion and details following, should that be approved.
Yeah, I think,
I'm reluctant to vote on it at this point without, sitting here and
Hearing
talking
the
to,
applicant.
sitting here and talking to the applicant.
I'm in agreement with that. I need more details before I can do a vote on changing the zoning, I just.
and I would probably be inclined to go either way. But at the same time, it took us quite a while to get out of that red gate mess. Because it was zoned something, then not acted upon and sold, and not that that would be the case here, but it would certainly be nice to hear from the applicant. So, I mean, I hate to delay things a month, but I think that's good. I think it gives the commission the opportunity to ask questions and gain information that they don't have tonight. So, Mr. Gorse, does your motion still stand?
In view of the comments, I'm happy to table the motion until next time.
Mr. Williamson, what's the best way to handle that?
Withdraw the motion.
Or we can deny the request tonight and just let him bring it back next month, or,
Well, I would recommend you defer the agenda item until next month and not deny it.
Well, and the
'cause then
motion-
it would go forward to council regardless.
sure. The motion lacked a second, so
Correct.
it kind of failed.
Died for lack of a second.
So, we would entertain a motion to defer.
So moved.
And is there a second? Second. I have a motion and a second to defer this action item to next month. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Williamson, can you please just convey that it just would have been helpful if the applicant was here?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Nothing against his application, just like
Yes.
more information. Thank you. Okay. We have other business on our agenda this evening, and that too was, we usually don't necessarily have that on the agenda, but Mr. Williamson added that for some discussion on some topics that he is in the process of dealing with. And Mr. Williamson, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just as preparing for this, I think what I discovered is that there's parts of this zoning district in our ordinance currently doesn't have a front setback listed. So it's something, I think, where no one has developed under many commercial districts other than town center in this town. So I think, anyway, so I'm going to bring, maybe in conjunction with the meeting in September with this rezoning is to establish a front setback. So, one question, just if y'all have input, is to think about, so town center, the intent for the majority of the zoning district, and this kind of dovetailed to my second point, but the majority of town center has a setback. It's actually a build to line, not a setback of 12 feet in order to encourage building towards the right of way and then have parking in the rear. So the majority of town center is like that. So for these commercial districts, and they're all kind of lumped into one section of the ordinance, we could do the same sort of thing, but maybe make it not so close to the road and maybe like 25 feet, but no further than 25 feet. And it does have in all the commercial districts that parking should be in the rear. So that is helpful because then that will encourage them to build closer to the road anyway. So anyway, so I will, if you have input, I would like to hear that, but as staff, we'll work on a recommendation to the Planning Commission for establishing front setback for these commercial districts that aren't town center, because they're all in that one section of the ordinance. And then at town center, just want to kind of revisit that again, because as the town develops, and there's a lot of town center zoning that hasn't been developed, there's a little bit of a carve-out that says, well, east of I-77 has a setback of 25 feet, but it's only on Blythewood Road, not completely everything east of I-77. So Wilson Boulevard, which has, and this Langford Road has town center. So that goes back to the standard of town center, which is 12 feet. And so just want to think about for town center, if Planning Commission had any recommendations for either modifying that or extending this 25 feet that is set up for Blythewood Road, where it's kind of a standard, which you would see in the county as a 25-foot setback. And that's how it is on Blythewood Road east of 77. If Planning Commission was interested in maybe extending geographically that little carve out, or just had any other thoughts, this, not to get too much in the weeds and when you're not actually looking at it, but the in the ordinance for the setback, it's established with a cross section that shows the building, sidewalk, trees, right of way, and then on both sides. And without it really being spelled out exactly what those setbacks are, unless you've really got a magnifying glass and look at these things. And so just so y'all know, I mean, it looks to me like it wasn't necessarily written with the town of Blythewood in mind, as much as it's a great tool that you will see in zoning ordinances in general. So just so you know, that's what's set up now for everything except for that small carve out. And I just think it may not fit everywhere, even though that was kind of the intent when it was written, to kind of build that town center look. So just want to kind of pass those thoughts on to the Planning Commission as I was preparing for this rezoning, and any input you have would certainly be welcome.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Mr. Williamson? And you'll try to bring some ideas back to us next month? Maybe
That's
in
correct.
conjunction with this?
Yes.
Obviously, we'll try to tie in anything we do with, obviously, the comprehensive plan and how that looks on Langford or Wilson or what's soon to be Community on the other side of the interstate.
Correct.
And you're going to see Town Center on that road as well.
Right, and I think the town center it warrants a little bit more discussion. It may wait for a comprehensive plan, but at the minimum, I'm going to have that front setback established. So I'll bring something back from you, and if you have input, great. If not, we'll certainly bring it to you for discussion and approval then.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Williamson, I'm happy to provide any input I can from what I know of the evolution of this particular ordinance. I think it deserves some attention and clarification. I think there are sections that are contradictory or are confusing at the very least. So anything that we can do to clarify that particular section of the ordinance, I think would be helpful to all concerned. The street cross sections that you mentioned are these things. We've all seen them. They're standard SC DOT cross sections that at some point in time were written into our ordinances. I don't think we certainly didn't design those, but we just took them as illustrative of what a street cross section would look like. But I don't think it was entirely thought through as thoroughly as it should, particularly with the change from business operations with parking in the front versus businesses with parking in the rear, which completely changes the front setback requirement. So we have a mix in the town center of front setbacks that are 20, 30 feet and front setbacks that are 90 and 100 feet. So it requires some sort of careful wording to make sure we don't compromise those businesses that are already there, but give equal opportunity to new businesses that are entertaining the idea of setting up here in Blythewood. So it's not an easy situation, but it certainly needs clarifying, because anyone just reading the ordinance would be confused, to say the least.
Thank you, Mr. Drew. Any other comments? And one thing to add in other business, next month would be, Mr. Sprouse will join us again and go through the next two aspects of the comprehensive plan rewrite, which is going, those have been very informative from the COG. I actually look forward to the next two to keep us on track for that. Malcolm, do you have anything to add to the comp rewrite?
I think it's coming together very well from a planning commission's point of view. That's really what we're all about. That's what we should be focusing on and pressing hard. And I would certainly encourage the town council to press forward with the mayor's list of short-term projects. I mean, they will be written into the comprehensive plan, but there's no need to wait for that to be a formal document before making a start on those. And I know you have those under your radar, and we'll move on those as soon as you can.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, we certainly appreciate these joint meetings. Tonight was light for town council as well as planning commission, but I think they're very valuable. They serve a great purpose, and I really appreciate from a commission standpoint that we do this once a quarter, so I appreciate that. Open citizens' comments, we had nobody sign up.
I have comments before you adjourn, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, no, I just wanted to, and I appreciate you and the planning commission allowing us an opportunity. And Councilman Griffin and I were talking earlier before the meeting to see, we got to get some dialogue before we leave, because we both had very short agendas. But I just wanted to remind the citizens at home and everyone else here, some of the initiatives we're working on and some key times and dates that are coming up here in the near term before our next joint session. Number one, if you do know or don't know, I'll tell you, we had another act of vandalism, unfortunately, in the park this past weekend. So the gate we've installed, we also have a Eagle Scout who's coming to put a fence along the freeway music, and then on the south side, south side of the farmer's market field by the Hoffman House. Once they install that, there will be a physical barricade, so it will be physically impossible to get in unless you violate the ordinance. I have instructed the town attorney to prosecute that individual at the fullest extent of the law. We have given opportunities in the past, let the word get out that this was not appreciated and it would not be tolerated. We took action as a council to try to secure the park. Incrementally, steps at a time. First barricade goes up. After that, if it doesn't work and Richland County can't assist us in enforcing it, then we'll do a security force of our own of some type. Because We've been far too lenient, far too patient, and now it's time to enforce the law, and we plan to do that. This Friday, August 6th at 6 p.m. on the steps of the Hoffman House is our second annual Purple Heart observation. We'll have veterans groups here. We'll have some recipients of the Purple Heart come and speak. Again, not to be belated, it'll be 6 p.m. to about 6:30, 6:45, just to recognize that those people who sacrifice so much for us deserve it. We have the South Carolina Women's Golf Association's second annual golf tournament at Cobblestone Park, and I believe that's August 12th through 14th, but it's the second week, and so that's coming right around the corner. So highly encouraged to go out there as members of the town, the planning commission, and town council, and just see those young women. Many are from colleges around the entire United States and around the world, and just meet them and encourage them. It's a great event to host here, and I'd like us to give full support. September is pretty much open. It's one of the 2 months we don't have a monthly event, which is on my short-term agenda. Make sure one time a month. Oh, Steve, you have something, sir? Go ahead. Oh, that's right, okay, thank you. Eddie, you want to talk about that, sir? Fantastic. My apologies. We just passed that, and yes, Steve, you got something else, sir? Yeah, I was getting ready to get to that, yeah. Big Grab, 10, 11 September, also coming back. Then we have the Oktoberfest, the 1st and 2nd of October. And then, of course, we have our annual November Veterans Day here in Doco Park at the amphitheater. But one last one that many aren't tracking, I want to go ahead and mention because the time is upon us, are the town debates for the upcoming election, which will be the 19th and 26th of October is what we have dedicated now on the calendar and reserved everything. Those are on Tuesday evenings, so it'll get the community in a rhythm. You come to one debate on Tuesday, next debate the next Tuesday, and then you go vote the following Tuesday. So please come out, participate in that. We have to get together and decide a format. I'm personally absolutely opposed to 2-minute time limits on questions and answer. You can't really get to understand what a candidate's about when they have to make a canned soundbite. You want them to elaborate, you want them to fill the thought out. So I think if I have anything to do with it, it'll be a little longer time period so people can articulate their thoughts and visions. So with that, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to let the public know we have those events coming up and put it in your calendar. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I don't know yet. Ms. Burnett's working that with Steve Hasselrock and Mr. Williamson, so you can talk to them after this. Mr. Williamson?
Yes, we're just in the process of gathering that, but we'll certainly file a police report. I don't think so. We're working on just gathering it and identification at this point.
You can talk to him after this. It's his meeting now. Mr. Chairman, back to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know exactly. I know, certainly. I mean, I just haven't kept up with it today. We were just figuring out who it was and then able to capture it. And so, I mean, it's all kind of transpired in the last couple of hours. So if it hasn't been done today, it will be done shortly.
Okay, and with that, that concludes our agenda and planning commission, for planning commission and for the month. We'll be back here next month again with Mr. Sprouse. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Got a motion and a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.